Welcome to the Comedy Often podcast. I'm your host, Kevvy. This week on the show is stand-up comedian and serious host Ben Miner. Alexi just told me something disturbing, which is that there's an app that she downloaded that tells you who's unfollowed you on social media. Why does that exist? Like, it's bringing nobody joy whatsoever. That shit hurts my feelings bad too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's real betrayal. like what's the icon? Just someone sleeplessly in bed, sad,
just depressed.
Yeah.
A little stick figure in bed, sad.
I hate that it bothers me too, but it's affected real friendships.
I love how dramatic it can be, though, right? Because like you could literally get rid of someone without killing them.
Like, I don't care if you're alive, I just don't want you in my online life.
You block them from all your social media, they are effectively dead to you.
It's true.
Right? You've deleted someone from your life. You have blocked somebody.
It's like there's that Black Mirror episode, I don't know if you watch Black Mirror, but you can do it in real life where if you see that person out, they're just fuzzy looking now.
Yeah, that was a sad episode.
That show is sad, and I love it.
I think that's how I appear to hot women.
Just a little fuzzy, blurry.
I just look like a series of like potted plants.
just that egg emoji from Twitter.
Yeah.
Just walking. But I also like the escalation of it. It's like one person unfollows the other person on Instagram, and then the other person does it back, and then Facebook is next, and it's just up and up and up, and now you're not friends anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing you know, you fucking jump them with a potato sack.
Exactly. Let's bring this shit to the real dimension.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got sick of your posts.
I got sick of your posts. Well, just unfollow me then. Don't unfriend me.
Right?
Yeah.
Just mute me. Can't we just take it? Do you have to be so aggressive?
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, just unfollow. Why you gotta let me know you don't like me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What'd I do?
I know.
It hurts.
I know. Do you like stoner comedies?
No.
Not at all? You love them?
Of course, man.
Sometimes you will remind me of Kevin Smith a little bit.
I've had that before.
Yeah, like your voice.
We both lost weight at the same time, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You didn't have a heart attack, though.
No, I didn't. That's why I wanted to lose weight, so I didn't get to that point. Yeah, I appreciate that. I love them. I grew up on, like, Mallrats
Me too.
and all that shit.
Me too.
I could quote that movie left and right.
I love that movie, and you know what's funny is my favorite release he's had is this thing called The Snowball Effect, which is the making of Clerks.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And I love that you call it the snowball effect.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't know if you get that reference.
No, you can tell by the look on her face. She has no idea what we're talking about.
It's a sex act.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't know these things.
That's okay. But it's cool because Clerks was... He moved from New Jersey to Vancouver to go to Vancouver Film School.
Oh, yeah.
And then learned a little bit and then was like, if I leave now, I'll get half my tuition back and I can just make a movie instead of going to film school. But he was working in a video store, and then his best friend was working in a convenience store that's connected to it. And so they were just always hanging out. And then he just started writing it there where they filmed the movie. So he'd work all day, and then at night, overnight, they'd film this movie. And they made it black and white, so it looked less crappy. But he financed it by selling his comic book collection and then just getting as many credit cards as possible and put himself massively in debt. And then luckily it was like a massive hit.
Oh
So
my God.
Snowball Effect is about that.
And then what really set it off, though, was when the studio picked it up. When Miramax got it, they bought the rights to really good music for the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the soundtrack became iconic, and it all added to the movie.
Alice in Chains, and it was like a lot of sort of like early 90s alternative music.
Oh, yeah.
I think Soundgarden was on it too.
Oh, yeah. It was a great album.
You know what's weird, though, is that the original ending was like very like David Lynchy, and then they were like, yeah, you have to do a different ending. Something less disturbing and crushing after this like hilarious... Like the whole movie is very like dialogue based. Now that you know what Snowball Effect means, you can kind of gather what it's about. But it almost could have been a play, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, most of his movies could be,
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true.
What is your favorite stoner comedy?
Ooh, good question. Well, favorite stoner comedy. So many, man. I mean, all the Cheech and Chong movies are like, they still hold up. Those are great. But then, like, what do you call stoner comedy? Like, I think really good comedies are stoner comedies,
That's
regardless. True. Like Animal House,
Yeah.
Borat. Like, I get ripped and giggle my ass off at Borat all day long.
I guess the content of the movie doesn't need to necessarily be weed based, like Half Baked or whatever, but
like Revenge of the Nerds had that great weed scene.
Oh yeah,
that's a great one.
Okay.
Then it's Half Baked is probably the best stoner one I could think of.
I think so too.
Right, like Jim Brewer, Harlan Williams, like You Can't Get Dave
Chappelle.
Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like that's a great movie.
Neil Brennan and he co-wrote that together, and that was the first time they collaborated.
Wow.
And they also wrote the outline for it in one night because I procrastinated all the way till their meeting.
That's funny.
And at the time, Neil Brennan was just a doorman at the Boston in New York.
Yeah, and his brother was a comic.
Yeah, Kevin Brennan.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because Neil Brennan was like, yeah, it was really exciting until opening night when we realized we had to go up against a little movie called Titanic. So like no one saw it at first, and then it became like a cult hit. I think most stoner comedies are cult hits.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I'm trying to think of other good stoner comedies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stoner comedies that are just like so.
Broad City is like a stoner sitcom almost.
Yeah. Well, Weeds was a good show.
I never saw it.
You never saw Weeds?
Not
man?
really. Like here or there it would be on, but I never sat down and committed to
Kevin Nealon was awesome on Weeds.
I love Kevin Nealon.
Kevin Nealon was really good on that.
Mm-hmm.
What else is a good weed show? So many. I don't know. Ali G, I guess, because Ali G loved the weed.
Yeah. Ali G, I wish the Ali G movie was as good as the Borat movie.
But the first Ali G, like, before he blew up, was a good movie. It was all right.
Into House, I think it was called.
Yeah. That one was okay, but the second, yeah.
I love the Ali G show. It's interesting because it seems like it's all improvised, but he had a staff of writers that would come up with questions for Ali G to ask whoever he's interviewing for, and Seth Rogen was one of them.
Oh,
so
wow.
it is stoner. After
it is
all.
very stoner.
And then the Borat movie, Patton Oswalt wrote on.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think Sacha Baron Cohen is like one of the funniest people ever. And he's kind of like Eric Andre, where in real life, when they're not being insane while they're being filmed, they're like germaphobes and like nervous and like anxiety prone. And then
the guy I think who doesn't get enough credit is Steve Coogan, because I think without Steve Coogan, I don't think we get Sacha Baron Cohen or Steve Colbert.
Oh, you're so right.
My theory.
That's interesting. Do you know who Steve Coogan is?
No.
I think you'd know him to see him.
Boy,
You ever see 24-Hour Party People?
No.
You'd like that movie.
I feel like I'm learning so
Yeah,
much.
there you go. That's why we did this. This is
We're
intervention.
so old.
This is why we're doing this.
It's an intervention. So you're in town and you're using our offices to do a lot of weed podcasts.
Yeah, man. Radio show.
Sorry. Yeah. It's your weed radio show. How has it been booking guests? Like, you had British people in here yesterday. How'd that happen?
Yeah, that dude's a PR guy.
Yeah.
And he specializes in cannabis clients. And it's been like the easiest show to book. Everybody wants to be a part of it.
Okay.
I think it's the first ever cannabis talk show from an actual broadcaster.
That's amazing.
Yeah, certainly international.
Okay.
I don't think there's been any other internationally broadcasted ones. So it's pretty cool to be like the first to do something.
That's great.
And everybody's real eager. I mean, ask like Alexi, right?
Yeah.
You engineered all my interviews. Everybody's gung-ho.
Oh, yeah. It's like so interesting, too, because some of the areas are so niche. Like there was it Habitat?
Yeah.
Where they had like
salmon.
Bison and salmon and...
craft
aquaponics?
Yeah.
Just
I thought you meant weed.
No, they do.
Yeah.
They grow craft cannabis and then they fertilize it using the feces from the salmon that they farm out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it drastically different feeling to smoke that?
No, it's just weed. It's just good weed.
Okay.
Hydro.
All right.
It's really interesting to sit in on. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
That's good. Are you able to get too high still at certain points?
Oh yeah. No, I can still get too high. Not right now.
Okay. You seem good right now. You seem comfortable. But I remember I did an edible once, and an edible is like 4 times the body high of smoking it. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to be mixing Louise Burns'. So anyway, Alexi thinks dogs are hilarious.
No, I was laughing
at any dog.
Oh yeah. Just laughing at your experience.
Oh yeah,
to come here.
No, I was at Mushroom Studios, supposed to be mixing a song, and I did an edible, like a cheesecake or something, like a hash one, and it's like the amateur mistake where you're like, but I'm still hungry. Don't eat it because you're hungry, you idiot.
Yeah.
And then so that place is supposedly haunted, and then at a certain point I started to feel like it was haunted, and I didn't say anything. I just left, and they're like, Kevvy, go. We're mixing. And then they just saw me tweeting. Like, they saw that I was just like at home tweeting, like, what's everybody's middle name? It's beautiful. Watching Coach Carter. It's funny how being high like that can really... I remember being on mushrooms once and watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I was like, the acting's terrible in this, and I could see everybody's makeup they're wearing. That's not realistic. It just starts making you like pick apart everything.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was on mushrooms and had a profound thought. And it was when I was starting to lose weight, and I had a bag of chips, and they'd only had the type of chips that I wanted available in a big bag.
Okay.
And I remember feeling real bad, and I was on mushrooms, and I'm eating these chips.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I was like, you don't have to finish the whole bag. And then I remember putting the chips down and being like, I don't have to finish the whole bag.
It changed your life.
And that resonated with so many things. After that, I was like, you don't need to finish the whole bag.
It's true. And then there's more for you later if you want that.
Yeah, it just sunk in. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
These are good mushrooms.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like how you have that sort of construct in your subconscious, and you don't even realize that that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like deep down, you're like, I need to eat the whole bag, and then just that moment where you realize,
it's
and
like,
it pulls it all forward.
Yeah, it's like
wild.
It's like an accomplishment thing. It's like, I'm not gonna half do this Cheetos job I've been hired to do. But it's also you get pounded into your head as a kid. Finish everything on your plate. You're lucky to have this food, so eat those Cool Ranch Doritos.
Man, we're old, man. Fucking, I remember I only had 2 flavors of Doritos growing up.
Yeah.
Cool Ranch and the good ones.
No zesty?
No. That's like Cool Ranch. Those are terrible. I don't get people who dig. I'll have like 2 Cool Ranch Doritos and be like, that's all right. Then I have a third one. I'm like, fuck, this is wrong.
Yeah.
It's the same as sour cream and onion chips, right?
Yeah.
I have like 2 or 3 of those. I'm like, fuck, how come I don't eat these? And you have a few more. You're like, oh God, why am I eating these?
Yeah.
I remember
Terrible.
When I was a kid at my birthday party, I was like 9. My friend Craig came over and he had a Dorito and he's like, tastes like corn on the cob. I hate corn on the cob. I still don't agree with Craig. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Craig's dumb.
Craig's so dumb, dude. He's probably still that intelligent.
What a dummy.
I remember at that birthday party, my mom let me put on a movie, and I put on the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and she didn't stop me, and it's so mean-spiritedly violent.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It's so graphic. And she came in there, and they're during this part where somebody gets stabbed on a bed and then starts floating around bleeding everyone. She's like, what are you watching? You let me. Maybe your parenting should get a little more stingent.
Get on it, lady.
Come on, Mom. One segment we do on here is worst day job stories.
Oh, I got some.
Please tell me.
Oh yeah, I know. I've had some humdinger, terrible day jobs.
Please do.
My first ever job I had, I was 13 years old, and I worked at a flower shop. And
I'm so excited to hear how this goes wrong.
And I learned how to make boutonnieres and corsages and stuff. And I remember showing up Saturday morning at 8, and I worked all the way till like 3. Then Sunday, same thing.
Yeah.
And then when I went to get paid, the lady gave me $5.
Oh.
And my mom refused. She's like, "You're not going back."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" She goes, "For $5." She goes, "No fucking way." I was like, "Whoa, Mom, hardcore."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
And then I had some terrible jobs. I remember when I was older, I was like, you get scammed into like bad jobs you don't realize are just really bad.
Yeah.
And there was one where I was trying to sell ticket packages for Ottawa's CFL team, like on street corners.
Oh man.
Yeah, and like they said, like, "Oh man, you sell it, you make this." It was almost like a pyramid scheme, but I didn't have to buy the tickets, right? So that was horrible. I remember
everyone's mad at
being
you.
super fat. It was 45-degree weather, and I'm hanging outside a Canadian Tire, just like, oh fuck, this is so unpleasant for everyone. I gotta get out of here.
Just trying to push CFL tickets.
And then I had my last shitty job was working at a call center. And
I had that.
it was terrible. And I remember it was for one of the clients was Time Warner, and I would try to answer the phone like real slick.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Hi, thank you for calling Time Warner. My name is Ben. How can I help you?"
Yeah.
And then one time the guy's like, "Yo, he sounds like the commercial."
Wow.
Then he's like, hold on.
Say it again.
Yeah, he's like, come here.
way.
Say it again. His Southern accent, it was the funniest thing, but I hated that job so much.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just terrible. I would do whatever I could to just not be there.
Yeah.
And the day I quit, I remember quitting because one of my coworkers, who was a very sad dude, he was just like, I remember always thinking, fuck, I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
And all he had in his life, it seemed, was softball. Like he had softball that he would play.
Beer leagues.
Yeah. Like one night a week. And then
Does sound fun, kind of.
they changed the entire schedule without telling anybody. And it fucked his softball.
Oh, no.
And he was so sad about it, but so accepting.
No. Do you remember his name?
No, I remember what he looks like, though.
Craig.
He looked like Ned Flanders with a mullet.
Ned Flanders. Oh.
And
Ned Flanders probably did have a mullet.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking, I'm going to take a stand for buddy.
Yeah.
And I just walk up, I'm like, I quit.
Ah, nice.
And then all I see are heads popping up from the cubicles. They're like, is he quitting? He's quitting. He's
Yeah.
quitting. He's going to quit. He's quitting.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny. Then I was like, yeah, man, I'm done. And the dude's like, comedian, funny. I'm like, no, man, his job is shit.
Let him go play softball.
Yeah, and I did say that. And as I
Good.
walked out, I remember pointing, I'm like, let him play his fucking game too, man. You're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
softball away from him.
Yeah. Take everything away.
Yeah, he looked like the dude in Happy Gilmore that knocks over the thing. Remember the big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I was an extra in that movie, and I was standing next to that guy.
You were an extra in that movie?
It was filmed here at Van Dusen Gardens.
What?
And you can't see me. And I remember I brought my mom to the movie, and I was like, "Here's my scene. Here it is."
I also brought your mom to the movie.
Okay.
Oh.
I was gonna call her, but
That'd have been great.
Respond to my calls. Apparently, she's sleeping with you all the time. I remember I worked at an online gambling site, and people would only call when they're furious. And I remember you had to say "sir" on the phone. I was like, "Hello, sir. Welcome to." I'm not going to say the name. And he's like, "Okay, sir, sir." Like he kept like giving it back to me. I'm like, it's hurting my feelings, kind of.
Yeah, I did not give a fuck. My job was in customer retention, and people would call up.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have a series of things that we could offer them, but you start there and you get to like the half off for 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I just fucking open up with half price 6 months, right? And then I remember my supervisor coming up and he's like, all right, so I want to have a chat. Just want to say your TOC is great. Your time on call, you've got by far the lowest time on call. You take more calls than anyone.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But bit of a problem. There's other options than the 6 month 50% off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like time is money, right, dude?
Oh my god.
I don't want to tank my TOC.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I always had little scams like end of the shift. There's a queue and you see where you are, and it's like a few minutes left. You're like, fuck, my name's moving up.
Oh yeah.
And then you get a call, and I remember I pretend like my headset wasn't working.
I did that.
You're like, hi, thank you.
Yeah. Like on Wayne's World 2.
Yeah, and it worked because
yeah.
they can't, even if they're monitoring the call, they can't tell that it's bullshit.
Yeah. I did that
my
too.
God.
Or I'd be like, yeah, no problem. I just hang up. Like while I was talking, so it seemed like they disconnected. No one could ever tell because they also recorded all the calls and then would review it so you could see how you could improve your strategy.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
And I would do that. Also, this thing would happen quite a bit where somebody would call in who couldn't speak. This is an awful thing I did. I'm just going to tell you this is a terrible thing I did. A person would come in who would call in who couldn't actually talk, so they'd have a company on the phone that they typed to, and that person would talk to me, and it was like so much work.
Oh.
And I got like partway through it, and I was like, this is going to take a long time. So then they had to call again with that company and get back in line, and I did that all. One time, this guy next to me was like, "You just hang up on that guy," and I was like, "No, I don't know. I wouldn't do that." No,
That's great.
It's funny too because I worked there, and I also worked at a video game company as a game tester, and they let me go at both places, but told me it was in 2 weeks, and it's like, you can't expect me to give a fuck now.
Yeah.
And so I remember at the video game company, this is like right when YouTube was like good. And so I was just YouTubing stuff, and the guy next to me was like the manager of the team. He's like, hey, Kevvy, can I get you to... Never mind. Hey, can I... You knew I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
What do they expect?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on my resume.
Yeah. Yeah, after we fired him, he really stopped trying.
Oh, I also worked at a Swiss chalet in high school.
Oh, nice.
That was a terrible one.
Is that where you became a chef?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not at all. It was super awkward because I remember they had to fire a bunch of people that summer, and I was ready to quit because it was my last summer before college. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just want to hang out. And then they fired everyone. They're like, we need you to stay on as manager. Oh, and then I'm 18 years old, managing a Swiss chalet for the summer, and it's like all these older people than me with like real lives. And I remember this, like this lady. She's like, "All right, I'm taking off," and I was like, "Hey, did you do your side work though?" I like the ketchup bottle's full.
Oh my God.
And she was like 41.
Yeah, you're telling her.
She had to go pick up her kids, and she's like, no, I didn't do my side work.
Oh, that's so degrading.
Yeah. I know. I've told this story in here before, but one of my jobs was the doorman at a discount movie theater, and this is when I was in 10th grade, and part of my job was to kick people out, and I had to kick people out who were older than me who went to my high school sometimes.
That's bad news.
That was bad news.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever take a beating for that?
Well, they were kind of. It's weird because my birthday is April 20th, and so I remember.
420.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also the Columbine Massacre, so I remember when they were on their way out, they're like, "All right,
birthday.
see you at school on Monday, Columbine." So I can call me that.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Harsh. I didn't choose my birthday; it chose me. It's also Jack Nicholson's birthday. Okay.
My birthday is the same as Nikola Tesla.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Not the same year.
Not the same. I love the flower story, actually. Like, I know that's the least sort of upsetting of all your jobs, but that poor person just thought that, I don't know what they thought. $5 for a whole weekend isn't a good rate.
Yeah.
No.
I like that your mom called it out, too.
Your mom's like, no way.
A son of mine is wasting his fucking time with you.
Yeah, pretty much she was going to kick some ass.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Those are my bad jobs.
Okay.
I wonder what the breakdown is on that.
For like per hour?
Yeah.
Well, I worked a good, let's see, 8 to 3, 8 to 2. So, like, that's a good 6 hours.
Per day.
So, yeah, 12 hours, $5.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck, lady? You know better than that?
Yeah.
Like she was doing me a favor.
Let's find her on LinkedIn and just tee off.
Cancel her.
Let's
Yeah.
give her a bad Yelp review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That flower shop shut down shortly
Yeah,
afterwards.
because of your mom, probably.
Probably.
We just talk about each other's moms all the time. I say nicer things about your mom than you say about mine. That's okay.
No, that's cool.
Okay. You're like, no, that's cool how I say it.
My mom is great.
Yeah.
Your mom's probably young.
Yeah, I'd say.
How old's your mom?
Maybe like 55?
55?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I met Rainn Wilson once, and he was like, I hear you're Canadian. That's hilarious. It is.
That's my favorite.
It's like cute.
Yeah.
And I remember...
Aw, Canadian.
Yeah, this friend of mine, he's a comedian from New York named Jeffrey Joseph, and we were in a restaurant, and these cops came in, and they were eyeing everybody down and intimidating them. And then Jeffrey was like, "What's up, officer? What can I do for you today?" And they're like, it like startled them. They're like, "Nothing. Have a good day." And he's like, "You too. You have a good day." And then he looked at me and he's like, "I'm from New York. Your cops are cute."
I used to, like, when I was younger and, you know, you go out to the bars with your buddies, I used to fuck with cops all the time.
Really?
Yeah, because I understand that...
You ever get a knee in your back?
But no, because I'm the furthest thing away from a physical threat.
Okay.
Right? Especially then when I was, like, super fat. And I remember I'd walk up to the cops and I'd be like... anybody fucks with you, you come find me. And there was always one cop that would laugh because I'd only do it if there was a few cops.
Yeah.
And the other ones would find it funny generally. Then the one guy would like either be annoyed or play along.
Yeah.
But the best is when they'd be annoyed because the other cops would be like, "Yeah, Jim, why'd you go get a hand? This guy looks like he's got your back." I'm like, "Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Don't think I don't have your back.
Yeah,
this guy looks like he needs a bit of help."
Some guys who know what's up.
Yeah, and then I walk by afterwards. I give him the old like eye thing. Like, I got you.
Really thoughtful of you.
And then the other dudes are just howling the whole time. And that's my fucking with cops.
That's great.
Funny. Yeah,
That's great. I'm still afraid of authority figures, even the border security people.
Oh God.
I'm like, Dave Chappelle has a joke about how it's like a celebrity. Like you're just there's no way you can act normal around cops or celebrities. Like you're like, oh shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't touch his gun. Don't touch his gun.
Don't touch his gun. Don't touch his gun. Don't touch his gun.
Why am I thinking that?
Yeah.
I can't remember whose bit that is.
Yeah. I think it's Aaron Reed.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
So good. We quoted 2 of his.
I know. We keep talking about him. We're obsessed with him. He was just on this podcast. Have you ever had an experience with a ghost?
No.
See? It carries on.
But my mom says she did in our old house.
See?
Yeah.
The thing that always happens is the women who come on here have an experience, and all the guys on here are like, I know a girl who had an experience.
Yeah.
My mom claims that in our old house, our neighbor passed away next, like the one who's directly to the left of the house, and my mom was going up the stairs, and this was like in the early 90s, and her name was Mrs. Howe, and she apparently was thinking to herself as she was walking up the stairs, well, Mrs. Howe had been suffering, I guess she's in a better place, and then the VCR ejected the tape, like with enough force that it landed on the couch.
Whoa.
But I didn't fucking see that. It could be bullshit.
And that tape was
Home Alone.
Home Alone 3. One with Scarlett Johansson. No, I was thinking of Touched by an Angel. That's the show I was trying to think of. That would have been a good tape to or Ghost, I guess.
Ghost.
Predictable.
Although, like, you know the whole orb thing, right? With pictures and there's like orbs in it. They say those.
Oh
are like ghosts.
yeah. Like floating.
Yeah. So I remember telling people. I forget who was there. Sabrina Jalise was one of them, but I don't know if she was there and like in the picture. But I remember telling her at the Capitol Hill Hotel. And a lot of people kill themselves at hotels because they don't want their family finding them, and that's the way to do it. And I told her that. Then the next day, somebody fucking killed themselves at the hotel, like on her floor. Like she saw, or maybe not on the floor, but like she like messaged me next to saying, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I remember we had taken pictures. I can't remember if she was in it, but I remember taking a picture at the hotel, and it was just full of orbs and shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
That's terrible. I've also heard people do that in hotels so that their family doesn't have to clean up after them.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, this guy was a real dick about it too because he built a bracelet that the door jammed.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
That's awesome.
I don't want anyone to find me.
I just saw Margaret Cho do an In Conversation, and she said a relative of hers killed themselves on the new white carpet in the middle of the room. So she's like, so my mom just pushed the couch onto the stain, and we didn't move. Wow. You believe in the haunting. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy.
Have you since you've been out here, have you gone to many of the shows that are happening?
I went to my shows, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who from Vancouver have you had on the shows?
Oh man, I had been, like so many people. My favorite new comic in Canada is Ola Dada.
Love him.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Dave Harris too, but I no longer consider him to be new. I think
Fair
that
enough.
he's got an album. I think that he's like at that point where he's about to start headlining shows regularly. So he's moved on from new. In my opinion, my favorite new comic right now is Ola Dada.
I love him. Yeah. I love Andrew Jin also.
Andrew Jin's great too, and there's no disrespect to anybody else. And
Absolutely.
my admiration to Ola, but that kid's just got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he performs the entirety of a joke, right? Like some people, you'd be like, oh man, if the writing was just a bit tighter, if the performance was just a bit, like he puts every ounce of what he can into a bit from the writing to the performance, and it's really fun to watch.
I had him on this show and we made him cry.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Yeah, he came on first thing that happened was
hammer to the hand.
Yeah, it just broke his wrist. He was talking about how the best smell in the world is his own fart, and then like 5 minutes later he was crying because he was talking about how touched he was during Top Comic that his hometown all voted for him. So then me, Lauren, and Alexi hugged him, and that was how it ended.
It was two extremes.
That's great.
And I met his mom. She came to the CBC Gem show the other day.
Nice.
Yeah. So we love Ola here.
No, he's dope, man. I think he's got a bright future, and so does Andrea, and Dave Harris is just such a fucking wonderful, special fucking
He is.
dude.
He's this very special little squirrel.
Yeah, how are you? How did I describe him earlier? As a squirrely dude.
Yeah. How's it going? Sorry.
Yeah.
He came on Yumi Nagashima's YouTube show she does here, and it's there's between two ferns. Hers is around one fern, and he came and sat down. And he's like, "Nice bush." sorry.
So good.
He's so Beavis and Butthead.
Oh,
his
yeah.
sense of humor.
I love Dave.
Yeah,
I think
and
he's very funny.
And he's a very sweet person. It's funny when I produced his album, and before we taped the very last show, I came and met up with him and his brother first. And his brother, by the way, is an older version of Dave who used to be a pro snowboarder and now is like a fireman. So he has Dave's personality, not Dave's voice though.
No.
But he's still like, sorry. Yeah.
So cute.
That's hilarious.
And I met up with them, and they had just had a big like family argument with their dad. And then he's like, "Well, time to go be funny," and then like went on stage and crushed it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah, well, I think Shirley Gnome's here, so we should probably wrap so you can do your episode with her. So thanks for coming on, man. Anything you want to plug?
Listen to my weed show, Joint Ventures, Sirius XM 167, always available on demand, Saturdays at 11.
Perfect.
And check it out, man.
Okay. Thanks, Ben.
Later, gang.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Comedy Here Off the Podcast. I've been your host, Kevvy. Thank you to Ben Miner for coming on the show. Make sure to follow him on social media. And make sure to follow us on social media at Comedy Here Off on all platforms. And make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll see you next week.